Consciousness as the gateway to truth. They say the doors to truth don't open outward, but inward. Consciousness, that silent observer beyond thought and sensation, is not merely an element of your existence, but the architect of your entire reality. In ancient scrolls hidden in plain sight, mystics spoke of an inner sanctuary where perception and creation intertwined, where the external world was merely a shadow of the inner landscape. Seeking truth is not journeying across lands nor studying volumes of forbidden knowledge, but looking within and listening to the soft whispers beneath your thoughts. The more you listen, the more the illusion of separation begins to dissolve. Ancestral wisdom has whispered this for centuries. What you are, the world becomes. Consider this. Have you ever noticed how reality subtly bends around your moods, your beliefs, your fears? A day steeped in sadness seems to invite misfortune. A heart full of wonder finds magic in the mundane. What if the world doesn't respond to you, but reflects you? This isn't poetic metaphor, it's cosmic architecture. The energy you carry, consciously or unconsciously, reconfigures the quantum lattice that forms your world. As the ancient alchemist believed, as within, so without, the fundamental principle of inner alchemy. Therefore, your inner clarity is not just a personal benefit, but a signal sent to the vibrational field of existence, the path to spiritual. Enlightenment is not forged with effort, but with surrender. Not the surrender of defeat, but of resistance. By letting go of what you think you know, you make way for what is truly you. In this sacred stillness, truths arise spontaneously. They are not shouted, but whispered. The noise of modernity, of incessant external input and validation, has deafened us to this sacred whisper. But once you are, choose silence. True silence, the kind that breathes, awakens something ancient. A knowing beyond intellect, older than language, begins to resurface. And in this sacred awakening, hidden mysteries reveal their delicate veils. You are not here by chance. If you felt the silent call for something greater, it's because your consciousness is aligning with a higher frequency. And once aligned, the old world no longer satisfies you. Superficial truths crumble. The quest is no longer based on questions of how or when, but on what am I truly vibrating. You begin to realize that the so-called texts, forbidden, were not sealed away because they were false, but because they were too liberating. For reminding the seeker that truth is not taught, it is remembered. That the divine spark within you is not a metaphor, but a living flame waiting to be acknowledged. And so the great paradox arises. In the stillness of being, all movement begins. In the emptiness of the mind, the universe speaks. Reality itself becomes a dialogue, a mirror that shifts as your consciousness deepens. The journey is not linear, but spiral, returning again and again to deeper layers of recognition. What appears outside is no longer taken literally, for you now see the symbolic dance behind every form, the hidden architecture of meaning in every moment. And as you begin to grasp this truth, another layer unfolds, pulling you into the next mystery, the matrix not as control, but as creation. A notion long whispered by a man named Jacobo Grinberg, the reality matrix inspired by Jacobo Grinberg. Imagine that everything you perceive, time, space, emotion, identity, is not an objective reality, but a projection of consciousness sculpted moment by moment. This is not fiction, but the core of a forbidden theory, buried beneath layers of academic denial and societal disbelief. Jacobo Grinberg, a visionary who dared to unify shamanic wisdom and neuroscience, spoke of a formative matrix, an invisible field comprised of pure potential that shapes itself around your inner narrative. The implications were radical. Reality is not something you live in, it's something you generate. This aligns with ancient wisdom teachings, which have long warned us that what we call the world is no more than a reflection of our own energetic architecture. Grinberg's work, often dismissed by mainstream science, was not merely intellectual, but experimental. He lived among indigenous shamans, absorbed the hidden codes in rituals, and put them to the test in laboratories. His conclusion was both elegant and unsettling. Consciousness modifies space itself, just as a dream feels real until you wake up. This waking life hides its flexible structure behind a collective agreement, but these agreements can be rewritten, and by rewriting them, the matrix transforms. This is the heart of inner alchemy, the transmutation of belief into reality, of inner stillness into cosmic movement. And those who grasp this truth begin to see phenomena that defy all explanation, but which resonate with a deep, timeless knowing. What if your perception is a swarm that, without you realizing it, has cast you? Grinberg spoke of inner silence, not as a meditative escape, but as a doorway that leads beyond the narrative, beyond identity, into the vibrant core of pure potential. In that silence, illusions fade. You begin to see how every form around you is symbolic, archetypal, laden with meaning that transcends the surface. This is why ancient initiates revered symbols. This is why sacred geometry was carved into stone temples. Why did the position of the stars matter? Because reality responds to patterns, to intentions, to vibrations. And when these align, the matrix responds not with randomness, but with synchronicity, guided not by logic, but by cosmic energy. Grinberg's theories disappeared from public discourse almost as mysteriously as he himself did, literally. In that time, he vanished without a trace. No leads, no body, no answers. Some say he was silenced for getting too close to truths that shake the foundations of controlled perception. Others believe he transcended, his consciousness detached from form, merging completely with the field he once theorized about. Whatever the truth, his legacy survives not in textbooks, but in the researchers who feel the pull towards a deeper order beneath the chaos. Those who dare to observe reality not as something rigid but fluid, not fixed, but alive. And if this matrix responds to you, what are you feeding it right now? What narrative are you looping in your mind, unaware of the echoes it creates in the field? If reality is not shaped merely by observation, but by the energetic signature that sustains it, then every emotion, every silent belief becomes an architect. And upon realizing this, a new question arises. Not can you change your life, but can you change your frequency? Because only by understanding frequency can one truly grasp how energy translates into experience, leading us directly to the sacred. Mechanics of vibration and attraction, the role of frequency and energy. Beneath every experience, behind every event, there is a resonance, a frequency that shapes form, movement, and meaning. What the ancients called vibrations, and mystics revered as sacred tones, is now whispered on the edges of quantum physics. Nothing is truly still. Every thought vibrates, every emotion pulses. You are a transmitter constantly sending out signals to the energetic matrix that responds not to your words, but to your core frequency. This is the hidden foundation of reality, the truth encoded in both forbidden texts and mystical chants. Your energetic state precedes your destiny. People say they desire peace, abundance, and love, but few realize these are not goals to pursue, but frequencies to tune into. The paradox is that desire, born of lack, emits lack. Desire turns into pushing, and the more you push, the more resistance you manifest. But when you embody the energy of what you seek, when you breathe as if peace is already here, when you give as if abundance is eternal, the field responds in kind. It's not about delusions. It's energetic correspondence, a principle interwoven in ancient wisdom rituals and which resonates in the words of forgotten oracles. Grinberg's matrix is moved by energy, and energy by emotion. Emotions are the language of your vibratory signature. Anger, fear, sadness reduce the field not because they are bad, but because they fracture coherence. Gratitude, presence, serenity amplify the field's harmony. But here lies the secret few understand. You notice how certain places drain you, how certain people amplify you, how even thoughts can weigh heavy or float light. You realize your field is porous, constantly absorbing and emitting, and suddenly the words of ancient mystics resonate with a new meaning. Protect your energy, not out of fear, but from understanding its creative power. Your energy is not a byproduct of your life, but its architect. In every moment, you are sculpting your future through invisible frequencies. So now, ask yourself, not what you desire, but who you are vibrationally. What are you resonating with in this precise instant? Because the universe does not surrender to the intellect. It responds to the soul's vibration. This understanding shatters the illusion of victimhood and gives you the sacred responsibility of being a co-creator. And just as this truth settles, a new consciousness begins to dawn. If your energy creates reality, then the signs and patterns that begin to appear are not coincidence. They are communication. This leads us to one of the most mystical languages of all, intuition, and the divine choreography of synchronicity. There are moments in life that feel like whispers from another world. Encounters that defy logic, signs that arrive precisely when needed, dreams that speak louder than the waking world. They are not anomalies. They are echoes of a deeper intelligence, communicating through the symbolic language of synchronicity. When your energy aligns with higher frequencies, the universe begins to respond with patterns rather than probabilities. Intuition becomes the compass, and synchronicity the map. These are sacred tools that ancient wisdom speaks of, sometimes overlooked by the modern mind, but revered in the temples of ancient seekers. Intuition is not imagination. It is perception that transcends the noise of logic and arrives directly at the essence. It is the voice of your higher self. It speaks, in silence driven by knowing, but it cannot be forced. It arises in stillness, in surrender, in presence. The quieter the mind becomes, the stronger this inner wisdom grows. This is why mystics sought solitude, shamans listened to the wind, and prophets sometimes emerged from the desert. Forbidden texts speak of entire traditions that taught their disciples to listen not with their ears, but with their soul. Because true knowing is not taught, it is remembered. Synchronicity, then, is the confirmation that you are listening attentively. It is the unfolding of events with a rhythm so precise and poetic that the hand of the invisible becomes undeniable. A book falls off the shelf with the message you needed. A stranger says exactly what your soul has been whispering. Numbers repeat, symbols recur, animals cross your path with meanings encoded in their presence. These events are not random. They are the language of the field, the cosmic energy that wraps all things. Does not speak in words, it speaks in resonance. It only sends you breadcrumbs when your consciousness is open to receive them. And so every coincidence becomes a portal. Every sign, a test. Will you dismiss it as chance, or will you allow yourself to be drawn into the mystery it invites? Intuition and synchronicity are fruits of alignment, but they are also guardians of evolution. They appear when you are ready to see beyond the veil, when the illusion of control fades and the dance of trust begins. The path forward is not always logical. It is luminous. It is revealed not with certainty, but with resonance. As you begin to trust your inner senses, the external world begins to mirror that trust, revealing more of its hidden architecture with every step. But as the signs become stronger, so too intensifies the call to purify what distorts them. The interference of the ego, the unresolved traumas, the ancestral echoes buried in your shadow. Because if intuition is light, the shadow is the filter. And to perceive with clarity, one must purify. This brings us to one of the most sacred and challenging stages of the journey, the healing of invisible wounds and the alchemical integration of the fragmented self. Only through this internal recognition can the voice of truth resonate clearly, and only then can the final revelation be accessed, healing not as repair, but as remembrance of wholeness. Healing and integration of the shadow, healing in an authentic way. It is not about fixing what was broken, but about remembering what was never lost. But to reach this remembrance, it is necessary to traverse the veils of illusion woven by pain, repression, and cultural distortion. The shadow is not your enemy. It is the silent part of you that has been exiled. It's the container of the memories you were taught to silence, the emotions you learned to suppress, and the instincts that societal norms deemed unworthy. These fragments, even hidden, emit frequencies that shape your reality. Ancient wisdom always knew to change your outer world, you must first reclaim your inner world. The illusions we carry are not accidental, they are inherited. They are passed down through blood, absorbed from collective fear, and reinforced by systems designed to keep us asleep. These patterns are energetic signatures deeply rooted in the psyche. They become the invisible architects of your decisions, relationships, and self-image. The hidden mysteries of healing are not in external techniques, but in the courage to face your own shadows without judgment. It is there, in the trembling honesty of self-reflection, that the inner alchemy begins, and it is this sacred process that transforms victimhood into sovereignty. But shadow work is not a one-time event, but a cyclical return. You revisit the same wound on deeper levels until the charge dissolves. It is a spiral, not a linear path, and with each layer revealed, more of your authentic energy is reclaimed. You begin to realize that what you feared was merely misinterpreted. Anger masks pain, fear hides desire, and beneath it all rests the original light, untouched, waiting. This process does not weaken you, it crystallizes you. It does not make you perfect, but aligned. With each integration, your vibrational field becomes more coherent, more magnetic. True healing does not require eliminating the darkness. It invites you to illuminate it, to be capable of accepting discomfort, not to solve it, but to understand it. To listen to your triggers as messengers, not as enemies. The more you integrate, the less you project. The external world becomes less reactive because your internal world is no longer in conflict. It is then that the forbidden texts begin to make sense, not as literal doctrines, but as metaphors for spiritual chemistry. The sacred balance of polarity, the sacred union of what was divided within you. This is the essence of spiritual illumination, the wholeness that is born from radical honesty. And when you sit in this deeper awareness, something curious begins to happen. Clarity, a soft but powerful sense that your path is unfolding exactly as it should. You no longer react, you receive. You no longer chase the signs, you embody them. The universe no longer needs to shout. Now it whispers in perfect harmony with your breath. And so, with shadow and light now seated side by side, you realize there is nothing left to fear, only layers to be remembered. And from here, a new journey emerges. One of expansion beyond the self, into the cosmic rhythm of spiritual destiny. Have you ever wondered why certain videos appear in your life at the exact right moment? As if summoned by an invisible force. It's not coincidence. It's a sign, an expanding wave in the field of consciousness, reaching those who have begun to awaken their inner world. If you found this video, the universe is speaking to you through frequency, alignment, and a silent summons that transcends logic and touches your soul. There are truths that should never be spoken aloud, not because they are false, but because they are powerful, capable of shaking the foundations of everything you believe to be real. These are the truths hidden in ancient scrolls, encoded in sacred symbols, and protected by time. Ancient wisdom was whispered through rituals, through vibration, and today some of these secrets are ready to emerge, not to impress you, but to awaken you. What if reality wasn't something that happens to you, but something you yourself create with your energetic signature? What if the illusions they taught you to accept were the same chains that prevent you from remembering who you truly are? In this video, we will journey beyond the limits of common perception, delving into the hidden mysteries of consciousness, vibration, and inner alchemy. Each revelation dissolves a layer of illusion, bringing you closer to a truth that is not outside, but in the depths of your being. This is not information. It is transformation. The kind that not only nourishes the mind, but awakens something ancient in the spirit. If you felt a strange resonance in your chest upon hearing these words, it is not coincidence. It is the sign. You are ready to remember what the world asked you to forget. Inner alchemy begins now. Before starting, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment sharing what caught your attention. Because once this door opens, there is no turning back. Now that you have touched the limit of truths buried beneath centuries of silence, ask yourself, how much of your reality has been shaped by forgetting who you truly are? The matrix, the mirrors, the signs, all are waiting for your consciousness to connect. So I leave you with this question. If the universe is always speaking, are you finally ready to listen? Share your opinion in the comments. Your voice could open a door for someone else. And if this message has reached the deepest part, don't keep it to yourself. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share with whoever is ready to awaken.